Hey, welcome to TokuTalkers. We haven't been talking Toku for 3 weeks, but we're back to triple feature this with GoZyuger episodes 17, 18, and 19. We're going to go one at a time. Uh, and luckily, these are all great episodes, I think. But with me, I'm Buster, and with me is my great co-host, Wyatt.
I'm here. It's
Yeah,
me.
Again, I don't like to apologize for for those who actually watch the show. That's been it's been like
Mhm.
3 weeks. Just life stuff got in the way for both of us. So,
Yeah.
but hey, we're back, and we'll start first with episode 17. Shine brightly, number one sports day. This was just a fun, silly episode. I liked it.
Yeah. After the past couple episodes, I'd say like past like 4 episodes or something, we hadn't gotten a or maybe even more than that, like looking at the episode list, because yeah, there was like the
The Gal
shit,
Red two-parter.
it's probably been since episode 10
Mhm.
since we've had just like a straight up like here we go monster of the week, boom, lighthearted
Yeah.
episode. So it's been a while. So it's nice to get back to this. It's nice that
Yeah.
a number one shows up with a or no one whatever shows up with a dumb game to play that they have to compete in, and it's like a field day situation, and of course it's like a completely rigged game.
Mhm.
um and yeah, I think if there's anything about this episode that really stands out, it's just like, oh, we finally get to see Kumade being part of the team, you know?
Yeah. Loosely, because he's still thinks he's like the above everyone, but
Sure.
like you know,
He's not an
yeah, it's like
antagonist. Like he's not
yeah.
like opposed to them. He's like actually like hanging out with them, and it's kind of like a normal status quo or the beginning of a new status quo sort of
Yeah.
thing.
I also do appreciate that, this is a very, I know some people are complaining about this with GoZuger, but I think it's kind of neat where it's a very, stock Sentai plot, but, done with, a lot of style. Because it's
Hmm.
because the sports day is, you're helping out a kid with, the main kid, I forgot his name, but,
Yeah.
just the kid who, walks around the cafe, he's just kind of like, man, I don't want to do sports, and then, Kumadai, or
Kumade.
Mashiro or Kumadai, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, still getting used to his name.
Hmm.
Kumadai just be like, hey, you can do it, just kind of motivating him. I know
Yeah.
people really hate kid plots in Sentai or Kamen Rider. I think they're neat if they're done well, and this one was done well. It
Yeah,
was really
I
cute.
like them quite a bit because it's a good touch point of when like the show is made for children. So
Yeah,
it's like good to be like, because sometimes these topics and plots and everything can get to the point where I'm a little bit Helen Lovejoy and like, will somebody please think of the children? And I'm like, maybe reel it in a bit and we can, I'm not saying to censor shows or whatever, but it's sometimes I do like just having these lighthearted, more like carefree antics, and the kid episodes usually help with that, and usually they are able to help make the heroes feel more involved in the lives of like helping people and like
yeah,
nurturing the youth and doing stuff like that. I especially like in Ginga Man, where there's a kid character who's like a mainstay character. He's not just like a one-off kid character or anything like that. It's not like Ranger where that like every episode had like, oh, here's a new kid. That was like the Sentai that that I can think of
yeah.
off the top of my head. That's like, oops, all kid episodes.
Yeah, Ranger, I think got kind of gives those episodes a bad rap just because it's
Mhm.
not even because of the kids themselves. It's just because Rangers just the characters aren't just that great. Besides
Yeah.
Geki or Barai, I still stand
Hmm.
by that.
Hmm.
Uh, and May's kind of cool, but that's a very occasion. She also kind of gets screwed over. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it was also just a lot of fun choreography with the sports stuff. I always especially with the end with they're doing. I forgot what the game is called. It's they're like the horse game where it's they're riding on top of each other. Let me
Hmm.
check. Um,
I don't
Tag. It's
know.
a game of tag, or I think was it tag or
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a kind of like a jousting style
Jousting.
thing.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Like this joust style. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and then him, like, the kid, like, clotheslining the
Yeah, and
bell
he gets to
guy.
be
Yeah.
involved in the action too. That's real fun.
Always
And
appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a nice wholesome episode. You need your wholesome episodes in
Exactly.
between.
You know what? I'm glad we did hold off
Yeah.
because turns out we don't have that much to say about
Yeah,
this
I was like, when I
episode.
watched this, I'm like, this is a good episode. I have no idea how I'm gonna get 10 minutes out of this, so it's like probably a good
Yeah.
idea we hold off. Although the episode I
Mhm.
find a little that has a little more teeth on its bones,
Mhm.
is the Mystery GP Detective is in the Village. This is episode 18. I really enjoyed. I am a big fan of like when Sentai does like genre gifs.
Yeah.
And this is just covering a lot of like just Sentai tropes I like, where it's just like, oh, we're covering like a different genre, and this is like I don't get to see mysteries often in
The
Sentai. I feel like
whodunit,
this is like
yeah.
a like I know I think because like I think the no ones offer like a great like their gimmicks of games offer a great excuse to do this because if you're gonna do like a murder mystery episode, you kind of actually have to like murder characters, and that just kind of like I
Mhm.
mean, you can walk around that, but it's like that.
Yeah.
That can like you don't want to murder a mainstay just for shock value with like a one-off goofy episode. But luckily, the No One's game offers like a good like a character exploration and just like oh yeah they're just pretending to be dead or just they're just dead for like a temporary time before like the game's over.
Yeah.
And it does
It
give Sumino a chance to use her detective skills, which
yeah.
is she's gotten great. She hasn't really used since like episode 6 or
Yeah,
something.
it was something where I completely forgot that she was even a detective, so I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then in general, I like, oh, giving her an episode. It is a definitely a more comedic episode, so it's not like, like the most serious use of her skills or anything. And it is a very, very funny episode. Don't get me wrong. It
Yeah.
reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you've seen this, but if anybody else has seen this, but the superhero Taihen. Do
I
you
have seen bits of it, but yeah, it is kind of
okay,
superhero Taihen. Yeah.
which is the go like it was like as web thing for the superhero Tyson, like the first one, which was Forza and Go Busters. And so the plot of it is that inside of the Kamen Rider Club, people just random riders just like keep being murdered one
Yeah.
by one, and they have to you
Oh yeah,
know
I've seen bits of it. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, they have to like solve the mystery. Eventually they learn that it's uh like the secondary suit actor, I can't remember his
Oh
name,
yeah, yeah, like
that who's
Etoku. Like
yes,
he's
he's the
like, I was just talking about him with a friend earlier because he's the suit actor for Vram and Gav right now, and like he's just doing a great job there.
yeah, but
Um,
he was killing all the people. Yeah, he was killing all the people who were suit acted by you know
Sage like the main
yeah,
guy, I
Saikawa,
think.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
Yeah, that's great.
it is very good. That was one of the first things that I watched that was like one of those like web exclusive things or like whatever, like the net
Spin-off.
movies. Yeah. Um and that's very funny, and this reminded me of that, where it's just like all these characters are just dying indiscriminately. It was like I was like, this is kind of violent, speaking of being Helen Lovejoy, like the fact that Ryugi like dies and like writes like Kuma in blood on the
Yeah.
it's just like that's kind of fucked up. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
gruesome a bit.
Yeah, and
And
it's
then like
like and the fact
the
that the
mhm,
culprit is the not Mashiro, but the freaking like his teddy bear sidekick who finds
mhm,
everyone, and they
yeah,
actually make it into like a kind of like compelling character moment where it's
mhm,
like he's
mhm,
like it's like to like strengthen their bond. It's like that that's
yeah.
I appreciate that.
I will say, and this is, I guess, a minor criticism because we're still pretty early on into the introduction of this ranger. While I do think like Kumade himself is a pretty compelling character, I'm not 100% sold on like his little companion there, nor am I sold on the existence, or I'm a little bit confused about the existence of Gude Burn. I don't 100% understand where they're going with him or what his deal is. I think it's
I
just
mean,
because
I
of
think
like, I just don't think that they've had enough time to really
yeah.
like. get it. I just don't. There's just like things about it where I'm like, a little bit like, okay, where is this going? I don't know. I'm a little bit
Yeah, because
unsure
they're kind of
about
teasing
it.
something of Good A Burn because it's like I don't know what they're gonna build to, but like right now it's like him and Tegasort are kind of like on and off, like father son bickering,
Mhm.
um, which is like that could lead somewhere. I just don't know where. Like it's
Yeah,
very
I
very
feel like
interesting.
they came up with a really good idea, but they're not doing a great job executing or
Yeah,
taking advantage of
or
this
maybe they're
idea in the
just
ways that
waiting. They're
yeah. It just doesn't like yet. It doesn't feel like they've taken advantage of it to the point where I would be like, oh yeah, that was great job, guys. Yet.
yeah.
So that's like a minor complaint. It obviously
Yeah.
doesn't like destroy the show or anything because
Yeah.
like the
No, I
and we're
get
in
that.
sort of like a down period right now just because like we had like a big peak with like
Yeah,
episode
the
15 and
Six Ranger
16 and stuff.
debut. Yeah.
Yeah, but then now we're sort of in a lull here where we're just like getting to know
Yeah.
him and everything. And like
Summer
I
in
said,
general, from what I've noticed, like the episodes aired in summer for Sentai are very like episodic and fluffy, just because like the kids are
yeah, I
home
think
and
so.
it's like when the plot usually kicks back in like the either the beginning or the end, which like that's just kind of a Sentai thing. Even like TokuTalkers and like freaking
Mm,
I don't know GOZyuger has this. Actually, I
yeah.
think GOZyuger has it less actually because it's like the
And
anniversary
I
stuff they do all in the middle. I don't know.
and that is not what yeah, that's not at all what I'm complaining about, like it being too episodic or anything. It's more so like the usage of the characters,
Yeah, no,
which
that's fair.
yeah, like the fact that like they introduce Gude Burn as like, oh, he's this prodigal son, this like thing that could save the world or destroy the world, and is like the child of Tega Jun and Tega Sword. And it's still like he shows up and it's like, okay, is he gonna be a character? Is he gonna be kind of present? No. It just is, I don't know, it's just like not a very present or active character, I guess by virtue of the fact that he's a robot, so he's like he only shows up at the end of episodes. But it's
Yeah.
still like a little bit I'm just a little bit hesitant to see if they're going to be
Uh,
able to like fully like pay
Yeah,
this
we're
off
approaching the
or
halfway point of the show, so we'll see. Um,
yeah. But
but
that's like
otherwise,
I just
real,
wanted to throw that out there just because this episode kind of like
yeah, it made you think about it.
yeah.
Yeah, but like I really enjoyed this episode. It was nice to see the GoWatcher form. I did not expect the wheel robot from GoWatcher to be used as like a little
Yeah.
weapon. That was real fun.
To brutally murder the no
Yeah.
one.
Also,
Yeah.
I apparently they pointed this out. The kidnapped victim is I forgot what the specifics is, but it the way they dress the actor of the no one victim inside,
Mhm.
that is an actual like pop culture like detective in Japan. Like that
Mhm.
is an actual like the hairstyle. It's not the actor, but like the way they hairstyle and clothe it. That's very it's reminiscent
Yeah.
of a famous Japanese detective on TV,
Mm.
which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out. I forgot exactly what the actor was, but it was an actor. Not like
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Um. Anyway, and then at the end of this episode, 18, to set up for 19, they have the Black Daizujin come back and
Mhm.
just combine with the Goanger, Gao Ranger, and Shinkenger mechs to
Mhm.
just form what they call Universe. I think it's called Universe Daizujin, just because it's like it's
Yeah.
combination, just a freakish combination of like, hey, you can do
Yeah.
this with your Universe. What's it called? Universe DX toys that they're
Yeah.
releasing. Basically, the re-releases of Max. You can actually like swap parts with them and
That's
actually
cool.
form this.
It's like the
So
Power Rangers did that with the
the Zord Builder, yeah, the return of
yeah, yeah.
Zord Builder. So
But yeah,
and that leads to
it has like
episode
Engine O's shoulders, and then the arms are Gao
Gao King.
Gao King, and then the legs are Shinkeno, and then the torso
Yeah.
is the Black Daijujin. So there you go.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
freakish combination. But that leads us to episode 19, White Burn with Two Hearts. Oh, this episode was all sorts of screwed up.
Yeah, this is a this was a pretty good episode. It's one of those like episodes where you kind of know immediately
Yeah,
that it's
things aren't
going to
gonna go
like
well.
yeah, exactly, that like something's up and things are going to go poorly. So they do their best to like have like the fun antics at the beginning, and then like all the depression and death and all that stuff like happen by the end. Um but yeah,
Yeah,
how'd you
and
feel
so
how'd you feel
basically,
about
the
this
premise
episode?
of this episode has Horyu meet up with not his mother. We thought it was his mother. It's not. It's just a very nice lady he met when he
Mm,
was younger. Mine Takanashi Mine. Um,
yeah.
so Mine is back, and they just have some fun time. That they think like the other teammates think it's like a date thing, so they kind of push
Hmm.
it like in very silly ways.
Yeah.
And like Koryu and Mine just hang out, and then it turns out it's a plot by Garudo to just freaking emotionally break Horyu even further.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. So, and I do want to say that Kuon, the guy who is Garyudo,
Yeah.
he is just a very compelling character in general. I mean, we talked about it a few episodes ago with the like the episode where it was him as marrying
Yeah.
his
The
brother or
Tegasu.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like even
that
from what I understand, even the actor was like, "What's going on here?"
yeah. And I was just like in my feelings being like this totally owns because I can't this is completely deranged what they're
Yeah.
doing here, and like I'm just so glad that they're just going forward and doing something like this crazy. And he continues to be the type of character that is like a complete freak and is very he has some pretty freaky things to say about his brother, and has like a very strange relationship with him to say the least. He
Yeah.
refers to him as like his precious angel, which is like, okay, maybe that's not too weird given any other context of, an older brother looking at their younger sibling in some way. But
But knowing what he's
it,
done,
yes, how like manipulative and how like toxic he is. And it's weird to like use those terms because clearly it's so heightened that this doesn't resemble any like actual abusive relationship in real life, because it's just like an exaggerated version of it. But it has just enough of that flavor that it like becomes very texturally interesting, because it
yeah.
feels so like there's like a realness like peppered into this kind of like cartoonish villain. um
Yeah, there's just like, of course, it's gonna be an exaggerated place because it's an action show for like 7-year-olds. But it's like there's
yeah.
still like enough like, oh, this stuff actually can happen. Not like the robot stuff, but like the like
Yeah.
manipulation and like screwed upness of like relationships and shit, like family familiar relationships like that.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I really I think they're not gonna forgive him because I think at this point it's like he's done too much to like go like for any kind of redemption. So it's like it's very
Yeah.
interesting to see where it's gonna like. I'm just yeah.
I
I know some
do
people
think
are
that there is a sympathetic angle to him, but I don't think that that necessarily means
yeah.
that it's going to be like, oh, we as the viewers or whatever are going to
No,
feel
you have
like like if we can go on just a tiny tangent. I don't think in shows making a character sympathetic in some degree means that you're condoning their
oh yeah,
actions
100%.
or are saying like, oh, that means that you have to forgive them. It just means that things are more complicated than they seem at the outset. I would say Comrade Gav does a really good job of this with the
Hmm.
Stomach family, where, and I won't spoil anything if you haven't seen the show, but in recent episodes, I have been feeling a lot of sympathy towards them due to the situation that a lot of these characters are put into and a lot of the twists and turns that the plot takes, despite the fact that they are like an evil corporation who is doing human trafficking, like
Yeah.
that's and they're turning humans into drugs and manipulating the government and doing all this other like crazily immoral stuff. Despite that, they've done a really good job of giving us enough scenes and moments of like humanity with the characters to start to understand that there's some layers to this. They have their own like interpersonal drama, and you start to sort of like feel bad for them even when they're like terrible people who like bring this upon themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Kualm has gotten to that point yet, but I can see the start of something like that. Every so often, it feels like he is playing the part of the monster rather than fully is a monster. I think it's yeah. I don't know. That's at least the reading I have gotten from him is that it's like the way that he acts, like he may be delusional and toxic and all this stuff,
Yeah.
but there's a part of him that is like forcing himself to be this way rather than like he's just so delusional that he just thinks that this is okay. Like I think he's trying to toughen up his brother in a sort of way, which
Yeah.
again, you can say that that's good or bad. Obviously, I don't think it's very healthy of him to do it this way, especially like murdering, this like person who's very important to him, like bringing her back to life and then murdering. By the way, just like Gotchard, with
Yeah.
Spanner and his
Oh yeah,
plot.
Spanner. I was more thinking Zhuoger, like for another Sentai, because that
Oh yeah,
happened with
yeah, yeah.
the Bungalay guy. Like
Mm-hmm,
he
mm-hmm.
just tortured Yamato that way. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's ooh, yeah.
that's
I
not
guess
not
the
good.
anniversary Sentais really like doing that.
Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to go on that quick tangent to
No,
to
that's fair. That's
express
no,
some
that's
like
like it's something that like I feel like a lot of Toku fans kind of like struggle with, like separating the
mm,
nuance from redemption and like well how like oh you
yeah,
can still feel sympathy for a character, but you don't have to like them,
yeah,
or
exactly.
not,
It's
or you
like
don't have to like you condone their actions. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like for example, like I don't know, we already did an example, so I don't need to do another one. I was just
yeah.
going to say
The
that
idea's been
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
We've
don't.
expressed, we've talked about it. I just wanted to be like, oh, since this episode's kind of a little bit more transient and meteor, then we could talk about these more topical things about the show rather than like specific to the episode. So that's
Yeah,
why I wanted to bring up the like Kumade and his like trio of characters and how they've been handled so far, and then also like Kuan because like I've seen some discourse revolving around him recently, and anytime he does another like fucked up thing, there's always like a new round of that, which I think is I don't think that's bad. Like obviously people should
yeah.
talk
It's getting
about
people. Yeah, people are talking.
yeah, and it's good because and I'm glad to have a show that has people care enough about it to talk about it because that's
Yeah,
actually like not very common with or that's not as common as you would expect with Super Sentai or Kamen Rider. So sometimes shows just come and go, and like the discourse doesn't get much more complicated than this episode was pretty cool, and then we kind of just move on, or like that wasn't a good episode, or this was mid, or whatever. Like
yeah.
it doesn't get to the point where we're actually like dissecting these characters and like how they interact with other characters or plot implications or like real world implications or whatever.
Yeah, well, speaking
Uh,
of real world implications that like kind of tie into like the cool hype aura and moments, like I do really dig like Kumade and Horio's dynamic in this episode,
yes.
especially like the climax where it's like they're about to combine their mechs, where it's like
Hmm.
Good Bird comes in with Tegasort with like an umbrella. That and
Hmm.
then they basically be like, you might not believe in my godly power, but like
Yeah,
like you may
yeah.
not believe my godly power, but like I will still grant you a blessing. And it's like, oh, that's sick. That's like, yeah, I do appreciate. Like I don't like the show's saying. I don't know if it's saying anything about religion. It's probably just like just aesthetical thing, but it's like I do appreciate kind of
Yeah.
like it's like toying around with those kind of like oh like people of like different faiths can like unite and shit.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I love I do really like stories that don't treat faith like very flippantly, and things like that. Like I'm not going to go on a whole thing, but obviously like, especially in like Japanese media, they could be very like oh the church is evil, every single time.
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't have to get into that. But yeah, I really like that. The combination was pretty cool. Like I think that the
Yeah,
robot.
it's one of the better like combinations I've seen because I feel like the base mechs have always like I know like Bumbuja didn't really have like my favorite combinations. I appreciate King Oger just going for the 20-piece mech at the end. Like I think that
Yeah.
like that's just like that was very nostalgic for me as like a Goanger and Shinkenger fan.
Mm.
Uh,
And
but
then
I
like
just
Don
feel like
Brothers, it was like a horse or something.
yeah, that was like Dawn Brothers and Zenkaiger. I like the base mechs more than like the final combination. So
Yeah,
it's nice to see that
exactly.
like the Brigger combinations look good again. Like they still
Yeah,
are busy and over designed, but like this one feels like I wouldn't mind combining the toys into
yeah.
this.
I think I like their like the Take a Sword and Good Aper and like them combining more so than the Take a Sword with the red wolf knife
Yeah, we've
thing
complained
on it,
about that
which
one
just
before.
yeah. Like that one just looks kind of goofy, whereas like this looked pretty cool. And I liked the like hands, the golden hands.
Yeah,
Like that's really cool. It's very like Buddhist imagery. So I like that.
yeah. It's a
But yeah,
cool design. One of the better like combinations we've seen in Sentai in a bit, and it just speaks to how like just locked in the design team is for this show. Like
yeah.
with all their super robot influence.
It's funny
Um,
to see that, which looks really cool, fight the like universe dark Daijujin thing, and it looks like a ridiculous patch job of a bunch of other older
because
mechas.
it is.
Yeah. So it is like oh, it's very satisfying to see it like beat that up, and they do like a
Yeah,
a Dragon Ball Z beam struggle at the end. Always good. But yeah, very
yeah,
good episode. Good batch of episodes in general. Even if we didn't have much to say about like the first one that we
yeah.
talked about, I still really enjoyed it because I just love these like episodic, monster of the week sort of plots. So
Yeah, like it's a good stretch of episodes, and it's apparently the end of round two, the like the arc
okay,
we've been on. So it's like next up is round three. I don't know what qualifies as like the start of a round
round.
because it feels like the show is always stopping and going, like with like new arcs and stuff. That's not the point. That's
Yeah.
just like just how the pacing feels to
So
me.
what was round two? Was because in
Like
my head
round
I was like, in my head I thought like, oh, we're in arc two now because we just had the like big
yeah.
upheaval
According
with
to
episode
like the
15.
wiki or just like everyone, it's like round two began on episode 10 for some reason. I was like, I
Okay.
that
Okay,
didn't
so
that does
episode 9, that's when he gets the sword,
yeah, it
the
gets
wolf
the like
thing.
Deca Wolf. Yeah, so I guess that was the
And
end
they're
of
like,
round one.
okay, so then that arc, this next arc lasted until now. And
Yeah,
then so like it was like every 8 episodes or 8 or 9
like every
episodes.
10 episodes it seems. I don't know.
Yeah. And then I don't know, it feels kind of
uh,
arbitrary. I feel like
yeah,
Boonier did a good job of making it feel like each arc was like okay, there was
distinct.
a new
Yeah.
villain at the start of, this
Yeah, this
arc.
just kind of feel like I kind of feels like we're just throwing up like random classifications. Like it doesn't really feel like this is what the story is telling me. No, it's like no, this is just what the this is
Yeah.
just like whatever Toei wants. It's like oh, every 10 episodes is a new round. It's like what if the
Mhm.
arc is still like
Yeah.
because episode 10 was kind of like that's the beginning of round two, but that kind of resolves a lot of stuff from the last like 9 episodes. So it's like I
Mm.
don't know. Uh
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway.
Art classification's weird, but who
Yeah.
cares? The episodes are good. The show is good. I'm enjoying GoZuger a lot, and soon
Mhm.
we're gonna have another show joining us because next week Ultraman Omega starts. I'm
Oh,
very
yes.
interested to see what that will be like, especially with Wyatt, who they've watched Ultraman, but like I
I've
don't know
watched a
how
few.
much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've watched a few. I've started a few and then never followed up on it. So it'll be good to finally have one where I had to kind of commit to watching.
Yeah,
I think the most recent, and this was a long time ago, so it's not very recent now. The most recent one that I watched through was Geed. So or
gee, that
Geed.
was 2017, so that's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. And then before it was like Orb and X and
Yeah, the Crunchyroll like
Ginga.
new generation
Yeah.
era. Yeah.
Yeah. Gingo is not very good, unfortunately. But
second half Ginga, I agree. First half, I still kind of like.
you still, yeah. I'm not gonna get too up someone's ass if they like it
Yeah.
because it's more like I was also like what 18 or whatever when that came out. So
I mean, like, I get why people don't like Ginga. There's a charm to the early season. I don't know. Like, I can talk about it later. But yeah, Ultraman will be joining TokuTalkers next week.
yeah, so it's gonna be slightly longer now.
Yeah.
There you go.
But Wyatt, why don't you plug your stuff?
Well, go on over to Twitter or
Twitter.
Bluesky if you don't want to use Twitter. Wasp Ranger, WAZP Ranger. It's mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post about videos I'm doing or podcasts I'm in. Just did a video on my Metroid channel called Metroid Prime 4 is coming and I'm scared or something like that.
It was a good
And
video.
and apparently, like in the past couple days, it like hit the algorithm or something because it got like a couple thousand views, which I did not expect. All my other stuff on the Metroid channel is like 50 views. So this, like nobody cared, but this one got a few thousand, and a lot of people very supportive and agreeing with me. But there was a few comments that were like hilariously passive aggressive, like "Wow, this guy needs to get a life," or "I think you're obsessed and this is pathetic," or whatever. So that's good.
OG
I'm
people
glad.
having hobbies. What a
Yeah.
loser.
So you gotta love that. Whenever you get over a certain amount of views on the internet, people feel inclined to be complete freaks in the comment section. So check that out. That's on Planet Zebes. That's that channel.
Yeah.
If you want to
I'll
support
try
me
to
on
put it in the
Patreon,
link. Try
yeah,
to put in the link below.
cool. If you want to support me on Patreon, it's Only Magic. Also, my YouTube channel is It's Only Magic. My main YouTube channel. There's Cartoon Buffoons. You're going to be on it soon again. Right now, we're doing a little break from Cartoon Network and talking about some Adult Swim shows. But after that, we're going to do Transformers Animated.
Let's go.
You're going to want so that will probably be August, maybe like towards the either end of July or beginning of August. When that is. So get ready for that. So check that out on the YouTube channel. Check out my videos. It's all good. How about you, Buster?
Hi, I'm Buster. You can find my stuff at the Buster Corp channel where I talk about too many things in too short of time. I'm also on Blue Sky at Buster Corp where you can just listen to me ramble about whatever RPG I'm playing right now. Right now it's Expedition 33. It's a
How do
good
you like
game.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
pretty good game. That's some. I think I just suck at parries. Like that's just kind of like it's a skill issue on my part. Uh, but if you also enjoy just me yapping and with other people, you can just subscribe to this channel. Oh, excuse me. Oh, dang it. I really screwed up at the end with the burp. But like, you can subscribe to this channel, Modular Media, where we do all sorts of podcasts. There's gonna be a new Analytical Fanboys on Superman and the Mole Man coming in like a few days, like on Tuesday or something. And then we have all sorts of funny little like component shows where we just talk about whatever's on our mind that week. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week of TokuTalkers. We'll see you next week for more GoZyuger and the debut of Ultraman Omega.
See you there.